Tear these in strips. I'm going to tear these in some long strips. I'm going to tear them into some shorters. Make some of them like long ways. So you want all different kinds of sizes for these pieces. Side. Need to be sure and get a good coat, because if you don't, it won't stick. And you're just going to start sticking down, go over the top. So everything's nice and coated right here. You need to fold your paper in half, okay? Because we're going to cut out our pendants on the fold. And then where the fold is, you're going to lay your template on there. And then you're going to cut it out. And this does not have to be perfect. So when you get finished, you have this shape. Okay, so I'm just going to take a Sharpie pen. This is just a regular Sharpie. And what I'm going to do, I have to have my glasses first, is I'm going to outline my pendant, and you only have to do it on one side. And I do what's called a double trace, so that it doesn't look bad if I'm not straight. See, like I just went off the page, but that's okay. Because see, now it doesn't look bad. Stamp pad. So I'm going to stamp these letters, and what I like to do is I like to stamp it, and these are really hard to do because you see the edges, sometimes you might get that little ghost of the edge. So you kind of have to be careful when you press it down. So I like to stamp it off on something and see how it does. And that looks okay. Probably this on here won't work. So I'm just going to stamp my little L. Oh, that looks great. That looks good. I didn't get any little shadows on there. So I'm going to put a piece of the baker's twine, or if you don't have that, you can also use some jute. You can use some yarn. You could use some embroidery floss, whatever you happen to have, okay? Now, what I did, and this isn't quite dry yet, I actually put mine down to see where I wanted it. Okay, so I wanted it to go like this. So I'm going to glue the L down, then I'm going to glue the E down where I want it, and then I can worry about the O and the V and make sure that I get it in the right spot. So what I do is I take my hot glue gun, I do a run of glue right there, and then I attach it to my twine in the middle, and then just run some more glue right there. And you don't have to use hot glue. You could always use a glue stick or whatever kind of adhesive, Elmer's glue, whatever adhesive you have. Okay, so there we have it. So I want this to come here, and I want this E to be about right there. Okay, so we're going to go about like that, I think. So now I know where I can place my O and my V, okay? It just makes it a little easier when you do it that way. Then you're not having to take it apart because you didn't get it in the right spot. So now I have my little love. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a rosette, okay? And what I have done is I cut out, I tell you what I used. I used this for the larger heart, the larger circle. and I use the bottom of this bottle for the smaller circle, okay? You can either use your Sharpie marker, or if you have a white piece of chalk, and you're just going to trace around it, okay? And it will leave you enough that you'll be able to see it, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, if you will notice, I don't know if you can see these, but this has kind of a scalloped edge. I just think it makes it look more like a flower. If you don't want to do that, I did this one, which looks it looks cute just the way it is, and you don't have to do this next step. So if you're wanting it to be a little scalloped, this is what we're going to do. So all I'm going to do is I am going to make a flower. I'm just going to go in, and like I said, this does not have to be perfect. I'm just going to make one of those quick and easy little flowers that you probably did in elementary school. And I'm just going to go all the way around. And you probably could have cut it out this way, but I just found it easier to cut the circle first, so I knew the shape that I was going for. And then I'll make this last little petal. So this is now what I have, okay? You're going to cut this, okay? We're going to make a spiral. So what we're going to do is with our circle here, okay? You're going to go in and just start making a spiral. And then make a little circle at the end. So I'm going to start here on my felt flower and then cut all the way around to the center. So I'm starting here, and then I'm just going to start cutting around. And however deep you do this will be however tall your flower stands out, okay? Hope that makes sense. Once you do this, and get it all cut out and start putting it together, it makes a whole lot more sense. I'm going to go around there. Okay? So this is what you're going to have, okay? And if I was to set this down, that's what it's going to look like. Now, you would think you would start in the center, but that's not right, okay? You're going to start with the outer edge, and what you're going to do is you're just going to fold it down, do a few rolls, and then you're going to hot glue that. Be real careful. You just put a little dollop of hot glue so that it will hold it so it won't fall apart. Then you're just going to continue rolling this up. And it can be as tight or as loose. And if you only want, see, that's what happens. Okay, I was trying to show you something. If you wanted a smaller one, just like maybe a little rosebud, you would just cut it off right there and stop right there. Okay, but I'm going to go ahead and finish mine. Fumble fingers here. I've made a dozen of these last night. Now I can't even make one. Okay, so you see you've got this little circle part that's left. That's going to be the base that's going to cover that up, okay? So I'm going to put some hot glue all the way around there. I'm going to stick that down. Now all we need to do is add our leaves. You're just going to cut a, half moon and cut a half moon, and they can be as big or as small as you want it. I put a little bit bigger leaves on the larger one, and a little bit smaller ones on the small ones. Okay? So, and then all you do is, I just hot glue these as well. And I just put a dollop of glue there and glue that on. Okay? There we have our cute little rosette. So I'm just going to cut off my paper. I think some of the edges may still be a little wet, but that's okay. I'm going to cut my ribbon here. This ribbon never wants to go down. And then I thought, instead of solid ribbon for this one, just to make it a little different, I'm going to use this little gingham check. Now, we are going to attach our little pendant banner, and this is what I did. Figured out where I wanted it. I think I'll start down kind of right there, and I'm going to make it go up this direction. Okay? So all I did is hot glue this right here and attach that. Be very careful, please. Easier if it's bigger. This is the Martha Stewart way to make a bow. Make 2 loops, cross them over, and put one through. I think those are bunny ears, aren't they? I never taught my kids to tie their shoes, I don't think, because they always wore Velcro or slip-ons. They never wanted to know how to tie their shoe. But you're going to take a hole punch. This is called a crocodile, I think, or something. And because it's the cardboard, it is a little bit heavier. And I'm just going to punch a hole on both sides. And I'm not measuring or anything. And now I can put my ribbon through it to do as a hanger. So